So I guess I'm here to say that I think the jury really will be fair. And even though there's one Latina, even if the Latina lady that got on the jury, even if she's only an alternate, and he has an all-white, all non-Hispanic jury, I really do think that they'll be fair and they'll try to be fair. Having said that, they found a body. They found blood from a body, right? DNA from her body in the trunk of his car. And unless he has some kind of a defense, I just think that he's definitely going to be convicted. Now, what degree of murder it may be, that may be what the defense is really trying for here. And on the Miranda ruling, the judge seems like he was absolutely right. I mean, if you leave out part of the ruling, of course you don't get the statement in. That's the whole purpose of the landmark Miranda ruling. And if you don't say that it can be used against you, and you don't translate that into Spanish, I mean, I'm just amazed because ever since Miranda, one thing that all cops and federal agents had, they had their badge and they had their Miranda card, which laid out in English and Spanish how you give the Miranda warning verbatim.
Yeah, no question. And Brian Dunn, I think that's another thing that hangs over this case, this idea of language. It should not be taken lightly, the fact that English is not his first language. And he was kept in confinement, under questioning for hours and hours, overnight, right? And I think just based on what some of the voir dire questions were, is his status relevant to his constitutional rights? These are the defense attorney's questions. Our Constitution says anyone accused of a crime on American soil has a right to a defense. Going in that direction, it seems like they might be going, and I think this may be the only way to go, is to challenge any statements he made so that they can get all the fruits of the tree, the poisonous tree, thrown out. Because I don't see any other way for the defense to go here.
Those are some great points, Michael, and I have no doubt that I'm not as good a lawyer as David. I wish I could say that Pollyanna would describe my experiences, but I have had a lot of very discouraging results with regard to representing people of color and having the jury seem to have their mind made up before the first witnesses even took the stand. You have so many prejudicial factors that are inherent in this case. This is an anomalous situation in the sense that the victim did not know her attacker. It's everyone's worst fear. They're out doing an activity that should be free and easy, and they wind up missing and presumed dead, and then later all of those worst fears are confirmed. And the fact that this individual is not an American national is a gigantic elephant in the room. I would like to believe that we're at a point in our country's history where that's not going to be an issue. But my experience has taught me that it is. And I don't know if you're going to be able to diffuse that simply by asking the jurors to talk about it, because these are the kinds of things that work from the blind side. I think it would be much more effective for the prosecutor or the defense attorney, rather, to voir dire these jurors indirectly, ask them about experiences they've had with folks that are not American citizens, try to see if you can sniff out some bias that way. But I think, Michael, you're absolutely correct. They have major problems with prejudice.
Shirley Painter, I want to bring you back into the conversation because I know you have some knowledge of some of the questions that were asked during voir dire by the defense. And I believe they did ask a number of questions that were targeted towards trying to get jurors off the jury or to get rid of jurors who may have those types of biases.
Yeah, that's something that was strategic for the defense, to try to dig into any implicit bias even of their client is an illegal alien, undocumented immigrant in this case, and considering that the prospective jury pools, I mean, there were more than 100 prospective jurors in the room and only a handful of people of color. One did make it on the jury, one who appears to be Latina, but you know, this is a county that